Two brothers from Manchester, some guitars, a big dream and even bigger fallouts. This is how Oasis became the most important British band of the 90s until it all came crashing down. It all starts in Burnage, Manchester, a group of mates from a band called The Rain. But it's only when Liam Gallagher takes over and renames the band Oasis that it all starts to click. Liam's older brother Noel is still on the road within Spiral Carpets, but when he sees the band live he offers to join, but only on one condition. He's the boss and he writes all the songs. The band agrees, and just like that, Oasis was born. So the 5 members hired a van and began travelling around the UK with a dream to play anywhere that will have them. Bottom of the bill or half-empty pubs, they'll take anything. But that changed when they blagged their way onto the lineup at King Tut's in Glasgow in May 1993. And guess who was in the crowd? Creation Records' boss, Alan McGee, and what he saw completely blew him away. Within months, Oasis were signed, and by the following year they were tipped as the future of British rock. Oasis dropped their debut album, Definitely Maybe, in 1994, and it became the fastest selling debut album in British history. With singles like Live Forever and Supersonic, their swaggering sound, punky attitude and Beatles obsession strike a chord with a generation. But the pressure is already building. In a September 1994 gig in LA, Liam insults the American crowd and hits Noel with a tambourine, and Noel temporarily quits, and then wrote Talk Tonight in the aftermath. But not to worry, because he joined Oasis just a couple days later and the tour continued. Just a bit of brotherly battling, you know, right? The band's drummer Tony McCarroll left the band in 1995, but they had no time to dwell as they dropped their first #1 single, Some Might Say. Tony was replaced by Alan White and Oasis headed back into the studio to record album #2. But back home, the press puts them against Blur. In that year, both bands released singles on the exact same day. Blur had just won the chart race, but Oasis were far from finished. Now their second album is an absolute hit, with iconic anthems like Wonderwall and Don't Look Back in Anger. It tops the charts and smashes sale records, and it makes Oasis literally global superstars, if they weren't already. By the end of the year, they're playing back-to-back shows at Earl's Court, the biggest indoor gigs Europe's ever seen. Oasis then headlined 2 nights at Nebworth House, which accommodated 250,000 fans each night, making them the biggest outdoor concerts the UK has ever seen. What's crazy is that a further 2.5 million people applied for tickets. The event is often cited as the pinnacle of Britpop, and a defining moment in British music history as it cemented their legacy as the biggest band in the UK. To this day, Nebworth is seen as a cultural movement that dominated British music in the mid-1990s, and Oasis became the face of this movement, with Nebworth as their crowning achievement. But behind the scenes, cracks are starting to show. Liam skips their MTV Unplugged performance and heckles from the balcony with a beer. He then bails on the US tour, and Noel has to carry on without him. And when Liam returns, tensions boil at the VMAs, and the tabloids cannot get enough. Still riding high, Oasis released Be Here Now, the most anticipated British album of the decade. It sold nearly 700,000 copies in its first week. But while the hype is massive, Noel admits that it doesn't really stand up, saying, "I know how much effort I put into it, it wasn't that much." Oasis were about to enter a new era, but it begins with a shock. Founding members Bonehead and Guigsy quit while recording album #4. Their departures was the end of an era, but not the end of the band. Noel quickly brought in Jem Archer and Andy Bell, who had to learn to be a bassist from scratch. During this time, Creation Records collapsed, and Oasis became their own bosses and launched their own record label called Big Brother. The band entered a more psychedelic, experimental phase when they released Standing on the Shoulder of Giants in 2000s. It of course went #1 in the UK, but the supporting tour was pretty turbulent. Alan White suffered from tendinitis, Noel temporarily quit overseas tour dates, and tensions lingered. With the new blood in the band, Oasis returned to rock basics with Heathen Chemistry in 2002. And once again, the tour that followed was pure Oasis drama. In the US, Noel, Andy and keyboardist Jay Darlington were in a car crash. Then in Munich, a drunken brawl saw Liam lose 2 teeth and get arrested for assaulting a police officer. A court later fined him £40,000. Still, the band finished the tour in early 2003. The drama did not stop there though. Alan White was quietly asked to leave in 2004, replaced by Zach Starkey, the son of Ringo Starr, and the band scrapped multiple recording sessions, which was a critical and commercial comeback, spawning #1 singles like Lila. Now the tour that followed was absolutely massive. There was over 100 shows in 26 countries. They sold out Madison Square Garden and the Hollywood Bowl. The band reunited with producer Dave Sardy for what would be their final album, Dig Out Your Soul. Now this was released in 2008 and it cracked the top 5 in the UK album charts, but it also marked Zach Starkey's quiet exit, replaced on tour with Chris Sharrock. Then came the end. On the 28th of August 2009, backstage at Rock and Sign Festival in Paris, Liam allegedly swung a guitar at Noel like an axe. Noel left the venue and moments later announced, "It is with some sadness and great relief I quit Oasis tonight." And it wasn't just a split, it was the death of one of the biggest British bands in history. Liam carried on with the rest of the band under the name BDI, releasing 2 albums before calling it quits in 2014. He then launched a really successful solo career, with his 2017 debut As You Were topping charts and earning critical acclaim. He then went on to headline festivals, released 2 more albums, and even sell out Nebworth twice. However, Noel took a bit of a different route. Forming Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds, embracing sonic freedom, he released a series of solo records. Despite countless reunion rumours, the Gallagher brothers remained publicly estranged, often trading insults in the press. But on the 30th of August 2024, following the news of the reunion, Oasis released the 30th anniversary edition of their debut album, Definitely Maybe. Although no new album from the band has been confirmed, Liam Gallagher has teased new music and even said a new Oasis album is already finished. But he later said that this was a joke. What a tease. The band's management then confirmed that there are no plans for new music, and the reunion will be the last time around chance to see the band. But wait, there's more. Liam then disputed these claims on X and said that he and Noel are the only ones responsible for making decisions for the band's future. The drama never stops. And after all the rumours and speculation, it all led up to the 4th of July 2025.
I know my brother better than anybody else. When both come together.
When the band performed their first show in 16 years to kick off their Oasis Live 25 tour at Principality Stadium in Cardiff, Wales. And it doesn't stop there, as this tour will see Oasis travel not just from the UK, but North America, South America, Asia and Australia. Oasis's music continues to soundtrack everything from football chants to viral TikToks, and they remain relevant and a quintessential part of British pop culture to this day.